I'm Colby.
And I'm Katie.
And you're listening to
What Would Teachers Say?
All right, boys and girls, school is now in session. I got a question for you. I know in our last episode we talked about back to school scaries and things that kind of make us anxious going back to school, like we dread our jobs and we don't like the place that we're at. But contrary to popular belief, we both actually love being teachers. Would you say that's true?
It's very true. And I feel like we both are at places, schools that we love for the most part.
Well, just throw that little negativity right there. Then I love that for the most part. But
well, you gave me a look.
I know.
So I didn't know how to play that card.
Sorry. Anyway, moving on. We are actually both excited about some components and some aspects of getting back into the classroom. And so that's what we're going to kind of talk about in this episode, is just actually some positivity. But of course, there'll probably be some negative humor associated with that, just because that's my personality, I know. And so I want to ask you first, Katie, tell me one thing. It doesn't have to be like your most excited thing that you're looking forward to experiencing or doing or seeing when you're going back, but what is one thing that you're excited about getting back into the classroom or going back to school?
I think the biggest thing that I'm excited about, using that word, I'm stretching it a little bit, but I absolutely love my teammate.
Yeah.
Like, my teammate is not just like my colleague, as my hand got slapped for saying that last season.
Our colleagues.
But my teammate is, she's my best friend. Like, she's a really dear friend, not only at school, but outside of school too. So it's been kind of weird not seeing her every day.
Yeah.
Like I'm used to seeing, and like us being our silly, sarcastic selves and, giving each other the looks that we know, like, oh, we're going to talk about that when, we get back to the classroom and different things like that. But
her husband's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
They got a good kid too. I will piggyback on that and say I miss my school buds, my school friends, the people that we've been sending random memes on Instagram, messaging back and forth of just things that remind us of each other. And it's that, I think that's one thing that we do miss out is I really enjoy the people that I work with.
It's the environment.
And the environment.
When you have a positive environment, and even sometimes when the environment's not positive, like you've got those people, you've got your people that make you feel good.
That's right.
Like you can joke, they'll get your inside jokes. You can be silly, inappropriate, all the things. The people that get you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that's exactly what I was going to say. I'm going to miss the people. And to an extent, I do have my little squadron of minions at school. My chillins, my T squad that likes to come in during our kind of our homeroom time or our in-between class time and just spill the hot goss with me because I'm just like a little high school girl.
I was about to say, you're a girl.
Oh my God, I love it so much. I just like to be in the know when it comes to who's dating who. And
like he'll come home and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have some tea. And like he'll start spilling it. And I'm like, that's not even good.
No, it's good.
Goss or whatever.
It's good goss. What's actually kind of sad is my kind of main squad, they're seniors this year, which is really...
Are you tearing up?
No, which is really, I don't know, like I don't know how you're going to be able to replace this little group because they're just a bunch of good kids. And it's not even the main like goss squad, but there's some other kids that I'm thinking of that are going to be seniors this year that
just good kids.
Are just good kids. Like, and I think that's...
Yeah, my group last year was, both my teammate and I squalled. at the end of the school year because they were such a good group of kids. Like when you say good group of kids, you're not talking about like just well behaved.
No.
Like you're talking about they encourage each other, they call each other out, not afraid to, and you just built that whole environment. And I know it's different because I'm elementary and we keep those kids all year round. But like the environment you build in your classroom and the way helps you to communicate to your kids in the way that you feel is necessary for that group. And I feel like you do the same for yours, even though you're high school and you've experienced those kids in all different ways.
Right.
But like you've got those kids that come in and get Starburst from you. And it's just like a natural thing. And like,
it's my little moment to kind of just check in with them and just be like, how are things going? How's your mom and them? You know, what are the classes looking like? And usually the kids that are coming in to get Starburst, it's either one or two type of kid. It's a kid who like failed my class their freshman year, but have turned things around. Or it's kids that I had that are, you know, stellar students. It's never really anyone in between. It's kind of crazy that it's just one or the other. But I like that about the dynamic that I teach. I'll either have the top of the class, the middle of the road, or the down and outs, but I always like seeing them come back and talk about their comebacks and how things are going for them. And it's just nice to kind of catch up with them because, you know, they're going to be, and I see it kind of more maybe than you do, but they're going to be valuable members, hopefully valuable members to society a lot quicker coming out of high school than going into middle school. And in fact, today, you know, we just saw someone who just had a baby, and it's a former student that I have, and that makes me feel absolutely old. And it's like, I hope that she's going to be a good mom and she's going to, you know, raise a kid and give that kid a good life and a good environment. And I hope that I was a part of instilling some of those things to her. Well,
you obviously were, because she waited around for you to come out and talk to you. But I know I'm a totally different end at the elementary end. Like, right. I'm always wondering what's going to happen to these, you know, kids in middle school and high school, because let's be real, not all of them come back to, you know, say hey or whatever, or don't have younger siblings. The ones that have younger siblings, they're easy to come.
Yeah.
It's easy for them to come back and say hey and give me hugs and all that kind of stuff. So this is my first year in this county of seniors. So they were able to come back through the school.
This past year.
Yes. Come back through the school. And then I had a line at my door after they did their little graduation walk through the elementary school that they went to. And I had a line at my door of all of my kids.
Your first year
here, seniors. And I was absolutely blown away. Like, I was speechless. Like, I didn't even know what to say to half of them because I was so... Obviously, I did something if they wanted to come. And, like, some of them didn't leave for, like, 20 plus minutes because they wanted to just hang out and do all the things. And that just makes me feel like, hey, you made a teeny tiny, some sort of impact on their lives to where they wanted to come and were excited to see me.
Right. And what was really cool is a handful of those kids, I got the opportunity to teach, and that's always been like a cool thing here. The past couple of years, I've kind of gotten a couple that have had you, and it's funny to hear their response on your style of teaching versus my style of teaching. They're like, y'all are way different.
Let's be real. They like me better.
Yeah, this is true. So yes, students is a huge one. I mean, they're the reason why we do what we do. So looking forward to a few of those and seeing them again, coming back, and then and our colleagues or our friends at school. But there's one more thing that I am excited about, and it's going to sound kind of egotistical, and it's going to sound maybe a little nefarious.
The big words.
Yeah, I know. I don't even know if I'm using it right, but I am excited about being the smartest person in the room again. Well, let me rephrase that. one of the smartest people in the room, because I definitely teach kids that are going to go off and do greater and bigger things, and they are probably a lot smarter than I am when it comes to certain things. However, there's just something that just feels cool about being needed by others, and having that feeling that you're actually helping because you have something of value to give them, and to be a resource and to be someone who they look up to for knowledge because you actually have something to offer is a really cool feeling. And I don't think there's a lot of places where you can get that replicated other than in the traditional classroom setting. I'm sure there's other things. But what do you think? I mean, definitely at fifth grade, you're 100% the smartest person in the classroom. But what do you?
There's always one though. I have at least one a year that makes me question some of the things that I say in the classroom, and I'm like, if I don't know the answer to something, which I don't know the answer to everything, right? Especially some of their questions about science, especially if it's not revolved around the standards that I teach. I always have that kid that if I don't know the answer to something, I'm like, why don't you go Google it
Search
tonight
it up
and let me know the answer. This is what I think, but I'm not 100%. For me, with little ones, and yes, I still call fifth graders little ones because they still are growing and they're still learning and absorbing new things. I love to present them with things to where they have to investigate ideas and problems themselves instead of just sitting and getting. I do a lot of wonderings and noticings to where like I present them with a situation and like they have to work with their peers and communicate with their peers about their ideas and things like that, instead of me being like, here's the problem, how do we solve it, those types of things. So that makes me feel good when, I give them that situation and we work through it, and then them applying things that they've learned from me to actually solve the problem is helpful as well.
You know what else I'm excited about?
What?
New school supplies. There's something about the smell of a Dixon Ticonderoga pencil that just gets me going.
It's a little far for me. Mine are Flair pens.
Your Flair pens, yeah. The first time opening up a pack.
Or a teacher planner.
A teacher planner.
Which I haven't ordered, by the way.
Yeah, you need to get on that because I need one too. Man, that's a whole nother episode of how there are no teacher planners for men, and they're all frou-frou elementary school girl.
Don't get on this soapbox.
Oh my gosh.
You have found one. I made you one. Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
And you loved it.
Yeah, it was okay.
No.
But that gets me excited. You know what else gets me excited? The back to school teacher gifts from parents, because I can't tell you how many of those I get. Oh, wait. I don't.
I don't get any either.
Like when you say, here's my wish list, and then they bring in stuff.
Oh, yeah. Last year was like top notch. I don't know what's going to go above that, but like I had my Amazon wish list just like as a QR code. And then I also had it attached to my newsletter, and like they could just go to that and send in whatever they wanted. And I had so many parents that sent things in, but I also had like one or two that was just constant. Like I'd get random things in the mail. Yeah, and I'd be like, awesome. I didn't order this. And then I'd read the card and it was like, thought you might need this. It was on your wish list or whatever. Or I had a sweet little girl 2 years ago who bought me a plant, which bless her heart, she should have known better because I have a black thumb, but brought a plant in, and then it had a little cute little note thing that she had put on not a Q-tip.
A Q-tip?
Not a Q-tip.
A toothpick?
A toothpick.
Two totally different things.
I know.
Used for different things.
Stuck it in the soil, and it had a verse from Proverbs on it, and cute. I loved it. It's just the thought of simple things like that there are some parents out there that do that. Not a lot. I have some kids that come in and expect me to provide their school supplies, but you know,
you got my pencil.
Another podcast.
And speaking of a whole nother podcast, I was blown away with the lack of appreciation that I received. Not saying that we want monetary gifts or anything like that, but even just the little notes or things like that that I received at the end of the school year this past year. And I'm going to kind of throw this out there and say it, but it 100% has to do with the academic success of kids. Well, I can't say 100% reason, but I honestly believe that the higher achieving kids have parents that value education more than the middle of the road or the underachieving, and they appreciate teachers a lot more than the lower achieving kids. That's not always the case.
I was about to say that's not always the case.
I had a kid many years ago. His name was Bubba, and I got me a $50 gift card to Honey Baked Ham, and we used that for Christmas or Thanksgiving that year. I think it was for Christmas. Yeah, got it for Christmas that year, and we certainly used that. And he was a Bubba. He made it out of my class, but he was sweet as he could be, and his parents were like, "Hey, thank you for putting up with my boy."
And I'm trying not to interrupt you, but it was literally going to have to be one podcast for just Colby, because last year, at the end of the year, like, I hated even bringing anything home because he was just completely beside himself, butthurt. Because
so butthurt.
Like, extremely butthurt because of the things that I was getting. And, like, I get it. As a teacher about to be a parent of a student, I know what it's like. So I want to make sure that my child's teachers feel appreciated, no matter how old he gets. So his teachers will receive something from us from kindergarten, which he starts in August, which that's a whole nother, makes me want to cry. But anyway, moving on. So he's a senior in high school, because I know I'm in a family of educators, and just hearing it from Colby, that's like, just because I'm a high school teacher doesn't mean that I don't need to feel valued.
Right. And I get it could get expensive every now and then, because you
have so many
teachers. You could have up to 8 teachers and coaches and
stuff. But you had the girl that made you those Buckeyes that were your favorite things. It's just those simple things. Like you said before, it's not the money.
No.
It's the thought that, I'm thinking of my teacher made an impact on me somehow, whether it be academic wise or I just truly enjoyed being in their class. Here's something for me to say thank you, a thank you card, or just a simple note. Yeah. I still have so many notes on my wall behind my desk.
Yeah. And
that means more than anything.
I did get, I got more of those little notes, which are awesome, from kids that I didn't currently have. And I think that was the thing that really upset me more, is that the kids that I had in the past appreciated me more than the kids that I currently have. That might not be the case, because some kids appreciate things in different ways, but that was just kind of my feeling last year. Okay, the last thing that I'm actually excited for going back to school is our little mini traditions and our treats that get us through the day. So we have Katie and I have a Friday tradition that we'll get a loaded tea from the local nutritional drink shop every Friday morning. And then I have one of my coworkers who I get one for as well. And so that's just kind of like a fun little treat that we like to say, hey, congratulations, you made it through the week. Enjoy the start to hopefully a great weekend and having a great Friday. Would you say so as well?
Oh, yeah. But not to break your heart or the news on this end, but you're probably going to have to bring me mine on Fridays now.
Oh, why is that? Oh, because you're going to have to get to school so early. I have to
get to school early to get our little one on the bus. So I teach at a split school. We have a primary school and we have the elementary. So like K through 2's at one and then 3 through 5's at the other. So my little one, my son, will be at the primary school, and he's super pumped because he gets on the big school bus at Mama's school and gets to ride down the hill on the bus to the primary school. But the kicker to that is the bus leaves at the crack. So the bus will be there about 7:10. So that means that I've got to be at school at least to put stuff down to then walk him up to put him on the bus. So,
that's
you're
gonna
probably
be,
gonna have to bring me my tea. I'll be out there.
I'm gonna have to be dropping then Molly off at daycare, and then going to get the tea, and then swinging by the craziness, which is your parent drop-off area.
No, you won't. You just the front of the school. You pass right by it anyway because you go straight. You'll just be going through the loop.
Oh, Lord. Well, I was looking forward to that. Now
if you could see his face right now.
Now I might be dreading Fridays.
Fine.
We'll figure something out.
I'll figure it out. You should literally see his face right now.
Oh, God, I'm in shock. All right. That's going to do it for today's episode. We got a whole big list of ones coming up. Like we're going to talk about being a first-time parent of a kid who's starting school, but we're also teachers in the same county. So that I don't even know what to call that episode, but that's going to be just a crazy concept and thought. We're going to be throwing in special segments where we're going to highlight some funny things that have happened, like parent email of the week or silly things that students have done that week. So be on the lookout on things on Instagram. We might be putting out some community posts and trying to get your input on things, or having you send us some funny emails or some funny stories. We would love, love, love to read them and share them with all the listeners. Remember, the story will be real, but we will not disclose your name. Yes, that's one of our biggest things, is that we the names are fake, but stories are real is kind of a mantra that we live by. So thank you so much for listening to this episode. Like it and do all the things. Eventually we'll kind of get a little spiel where we're like, give it a 5-star review, share it with where you listen to podcasts. But until then, remember, teachers need energy. So throw them a loaded tea every now and then. Class dismissed.